joining today. We'll see how much time we allocate with today's call due to the fact that the second half of this presentation was going to be an open forum. So certainly we can spend as much time as we need if necessary, but we'll certainly go over PowerPoint presentation and then we'll get into the open forum. So let me share my screen and we'll get started here. Oh, that went on the wrong screen. Just one second. Wrong screen again. Sorry. Try this again. Let me just unplug my monitor here and we'll go with one monitor because it's not sharing how I'd like.
There we go. Oh, that's the notes. You got the notes side.
Yeah, hopefully, there we go. All right, I got a new computer here, so I got to maybe adjust some settings. So we'll go with this, but as you can see, let me move a few of these things out of the way here as well. Again, this is the 2025 CGA Advanced Users webinar. Thanks for those of you who are in attendance. The agenda today, again, introduction, we'll probably just skip right over that. We do always focus on Golf Hub, so the few minutes focusing on Golf Hub and what that is and contains and what it may be advantageous for you to use at your facility. Then we'll look into building out some multi-round tournaments, a ringer tournament, club championship, and then I have a multi-round link tournament that they will also look to be building. We'll kind of go through these as if you were running one of these, so that will be in the software, and we'll go through each one of these rounds and build these out. I've done some of the preliminary work so that we won't have to do a lot of building divisions or adding in players to the roster, but we will work on creating pairings and show you how we build out some of the round tournaments. And then again, at the end, another just brief description on divisions, flights, and teams, just so that everyone starts to get comfortable with the concept of this terminology and when and how they are used. And then we'll focus on a few of some league best practices. I know we've gone over some of this in the past webinars, but certainly it's a good refresher, and I've added in a few other pieces of information as far as best practices that you might use at your facility. And then, as I mentioned, we may go into an open forum to answer any questions that you have regarding your specific league environment or event environment, anything that you'd like to talk about within your account through Golf Genius. So again, we'll just skip through the introduction. Justin Scott here, and we'll move right into Golf Hub. And as again, most of you probably know, Golf Hub it's about 2 years old now. This is just a new feature within Golf Genius where we can generate digital flyers that are able to promote events. We can display those event details in a nice form and fashion, a nice layout of the details of your specific events. Within Golf Hub, if you are a TM Club user, we can build registration and registration with payments. And additionally, if you're on the premium package, we can still use Golf Hub, but you would use your premium feature registrations to acquire specific custom field information that you need from your players to populate into an event roster. And with Golf Hub, again, this is just an inventory of the events that are available at your facility. But also, if you would like, we can promote these to aggregated hubs that the CGA has built. So if you want to push your event to the CGA's website so that you can try and attract more golfers, we can push that hub into the CGA's aggregated hub, as well as Golf Genius has a global hub so that you can push those events to the Golf Genius hub as well. So it hopefully will give you some exposure for some of your events. Again, we see this more for public facilities trying to promote leagues and events, or if you're at a private facility and you have those Monday corporate outings, we can certainly try and generate some exposure through the Golf Hub by pushing that not only to your hub, but again, to the CGA's hub or the Golf Genius Global Hub. So certainly if that's something that you are interested in, we've got a number of knowledge base articles, webinars that you can certainly search and research on to utilize this feature. Moving into multi-round tournaments is what we are going to mainly focus on today. Again, within our multi-round tournaments, we have multi-round tournaments again and link tournaments. A multi-round tournament is where the format is the same throughout the rounds. So we would set that up as a multi-round tournament. And then a link tournament is the ability to create different formats at the round level and then link them into an aggregate. And we will go over both of these operations here in just a moment once we get into the software. As you can see here, Club Championship, just a quick screenshot. Again, we'll get into this here in a moment, where we have different divisions, different flights, different tournament formats that we can build out to generate an aggregate result. And then a ringer tournament we'll look at as well. With this is just a format where we count the best score on each hole over a specific number of rounds to generate a ringer tournament format. So we'll get into the account here. I've opened up my account where I'm now in the advanced webinar event that I have created. And we'll kind of move through some of these operations. And I guess also, since there's just a few of us on here, if you do have a question at any point in time, certainly feel free to unmute yourself, ask that question, or pose that question in a chat. We should have plenty of time to answer any of those questions that you may have. But within the event, we are going to build out in your calendar tab, we are going to add in the number of rounds that are necessary to complete these events. As you can see here, we're going to work on a 3-round club championship. And then we are going to work on a link tournament where we have 3 different formats: better ball, scramble, and alternate shot. And we are going to aggregate these into a 3-round total. So you can certainly rename these rounds if you would like. You don't have to. These would be named round 1 through 6. Pardon me if I didn't come in to rename these, but we've renamed these so that they appropriately appear on specific pieces of printed material in different areas of the portal. Now we need to build out a roster. We'll certainly get into different ways that we can build a roster. We'll talk about some premium feature registration here towards the end of the webinar. But we need to build this roster in one form or another, either importing golfers in from the master roster, manually adding them, uploading them from a spreadsheet, or as I mentioned, we will use registration or look at registration as to how to build out a roster with premium registration. After we have our roster built, we're then going to manage these players for the rounds that are contained within this particular event. Now, divisions, flights, and teams, again, we'll kind of go ahead and talk about this, even though we do have a slide afterwards to kind of continue the conversation. But let's say we have different divisions for our club championship. I've had 16 golfers register to this particular event, or I've added 16 players to this roster. Now, maybe I need a division of all of those players. I could certainly use my all golfers division, or maybe I want to build another one for some other purposes. I've just done this just because we're going to use this one for our member guest event. But I built a club championship division that has all of my golfers in that division. And then additionally, I have changed or built 2 other divisions that are divided into buckets: a senior division and a super senior division. Now, if you're using the master roster to build these and you have an age in your player's profile, we can certainly build these divisions by a specific age of your golfer. However, we do need to make sure that we have age in the player's profile. Gin does bring that over, but there are times where players don't have that information in Gin. So we may need to build these divisions manually if that information isn't contained in Gin. It's not a requirement, it's just a recommendation to populate that information into a player's Gin profile. As you can see, I've built out a senior and a super senior club championship with 8 golfers in each division. Now, if we need to flight these players, we can certainly do so, and we have different parameters as to how we can flight these golfers. Normally, handicap index is what we see used most often, but some facilities like to use playing handicap to build out these flights. Number of flights is normally what we see, where we have 2 flights that we are going to build. And then we have a couple different options, and I'll do one in one division, and I'll do one without this option in the next division. I would like to specify the maximum handicap index for each flight. So if I were to wanting to do that for this division, and if I specify the maximum handicaps, let's say the maximum handicap index for this division is going to be 15, and then we'll do 40. Let's see if I get all of my golfers in at 40. I've now have a reduced amount of golfers, or a lesser amount of golfers in my first flight, because I have set an index range to build this flight. We certainly see this done in club championships where you have different ranges for different flights. You certainly have the ability to edit these flight names as well if need be. And when I move into next, we are going to build these flights based off of these index ranges that I have given for these 2 flights. And now within my senior division, I have 3 golfers in flight 1, 5 golfers in flight 2. Coming back to my events divisions, flights, and teams, my super senior division, let's say we just want to try and make this as equal as possible. Well, if that's the case, we would not choose this option. And then when I come into next, we are going to divide these golfers into 4 players in each flight. Now, there is another option here that we normally see checked as well. Players having the same index should be placed in the same flight, meaning that if player 4 in flight 1 and player 5 in flight 2 have the same index, we would normally want to put them in the same flight, because that puts in a disadvantage to that golfer in flight 1, who is the 4th golfer in that flight, and a little bit of an advantage to the 5th golfer, who has the lowest index in flight 2. Sometimes this may stay 4 and 4, sometimes this might jump to 5 and 3. So we'll see what happens when I create these flights using this option. I have a feeling it's still going to be 4 and 4, but we can certainly determine if that is the case or not. And it looks like there is no tie in between the 4th and 5th golfer. So we have created 4 flights, 4 golfers in each one of these flights. After we have these flights built, we may, or maybe before, actually, I probably should have done this before, pardon me. But maybe before we build these flights, we would want to have access Gin to update handicap indexes. I got a little ahead of myself. So, and that's fine. Okay, well, I forgot to access Gin to update handicap indexes. What I could do is I could come in, update these players' indexes, and if there has been any changes to these indexes, which it looks like looks like we might have had a golfer who are inactive as of now, so they've come back with an incorrect ID. So we would want to talk to these golfers and have them become activated, or maybe a regulation of your facility is if you don't have an active index, you're going to play at a 0. I'm not going to reflight, because that would certainly change our indexes of these players, or where they were in these flights. But as you can see here, there are some indexes that have changed. So we would probably want to reflight if I had forgotten to update indexes from Gen. And we have a number of different ways that we can update indexes on a specific date, current index on a previous date, an average, low handicap index, lots of different ways to update indexes from Gen. But after I have my divisions built and my flights built, this is where we would come in and we would build out your multi-round tournaments. And since this is a tournament that spans more than one round, the multi-round tournament option is found under your events tab. A global tab that encompasses the entire number of rounds in this event is why the multi-round tournament is found under the events tab. Now, when I come in and build my multi-round tournaments, I've already built these, but I'll just kind of go through. If we needed to build a new multi-round tournament, you certainly would. But if I click on my club championship, we want to give it the appropriate name. We are going to choose the rounds that this tournament will be used for. So rounds 1, 2, and 3 of the club championship. We want to choose the divisions that we are using for this tournament. My super senior division, my senior division, and then I had an overall club championship division that will be encompass all of the golfers. So sometimes maybe I win the super senior and I win the club championship as well. We see this a lot where you have the ability to win the overall as well as your specific division. Your tournament format, again, obviously we have a number of different formats that we can conduct, but in this instance, it's a stroke play format. Because we are using flights, we'll use the player versus flight option, using their own ball over 18 holes. USGA net, we're going to use a gross net bias where we will pay out or we will place those golfers in different finish positions based off of the bias where a golfer cannot double dip into both. They can win either the gross or the net. And then if they were to win first place in the gross, we would ignore them in this first place net. And then we would assign the next net finisher that first place position. And we would swap back and forth until all positions had been filled. In a bias, I didn't change this, but it's a good thing that I have seen this. Retain ties in a gross net bias, we normally do not recommend because if there is a tie, there's so many different algorithms or scenarios that can happen within the retain ties option. You may not think the way that Golf Genius produced results is how you wanted them to show. Now that's fine. You'd have to go back in and make those adjustments yourself because again, there are so many different scenarios in retaining ties with a biased tournament. Normally we recommend retaining ties USGA 9631 or last to first is what we see most often. If you have a purse and points you would like to put into this particular tournament, you can. And if the purse and points are the same for each one of your divisions and flights, you could certainly put in your gross purse and your net purse into this option here. However, if purse and points are different, we can now choose a purse and points for our club championship division, where I may pay 180 for these two finish positions, gross and net. But then within my club championship senior division, I have the option to pay out my flight winners as well in a different amount. So maybe this is a different amount where we're only going to pay $80 to the overall winner of the gross and net in my club championship senior flight 1. And maybe in flight 2, for whatever reason, we want to reduce that amount. We can change that amount. And then my super senior division, we would do the same thing. Maybe in this scenario, we're going to pay out 2 positions. And again, this is all just based off of your matrix as to how you want to pay out your golfers. And then we would pay out flight 2 Same thing, maybe we're going to pay them a little bit less for whatever reason, make them try and get better to get into the first flight to generate some more funds if they were to win. But as you can see, now within this different matrix, I have $480 that I've paid out, but I've paid out different amounts to each one of these divisions and these different flights. The ringer tournament, again, is just a multi-round tournament. As we mentioned, it spans multiple rounds. And in this one, in this scenario, because I have a member guest added to this particular event, I'm going to add my 3 rounds of my club championship and my better ball to this ringer tournament, but certainly I would not want to add a scramble or an alternate shot tournament to the ringer board because I'm not playing my own ball. We use the all golfers division, which contain the 16 golfers. If you have a ringer tournament that you have to buy into, you would just build out a ringer division, and then you would populate those golfers into the ringer division. Now, some people like to flight their ringer division, which is fine, but normally I do that at the end of the season. I would flight my golfers at the end because golfers are changing indexes throughout the season. If I if I create my flights in round 1 and have those results, and then we change indexes and I recreate my flights in round 2, golfers are going to be moving around within flights all over the place. And towards the end of the season, that's really where you want your results. So normally within a ringer tournament, we have it as player versus field for the duration of the rounds, and that at the end of the season, we may flight that ringer division to move golfers around into their respective flights. So lots of different ways that you can use the ringer tournament. If it's scored at gross, yes, you may need flights. Scored at net, well, that makes it equal playing field for everyone. So a lot of times in a net ringer, we just see it used as player versus field. But you do have the option to generate flights for a ringer tournament, but we recommend that to be done at the end of the season. Again, you can put in a person points. Let's say this one, we're just going to give $250 to the ultimate ringer winner. Sorry, everyone else who had a good season, 1 stroke behind the ringer winner, but we're just going to pay out a winner take all amount in this scenario. So I have my championship multi-round tournament and my ringer round tournament built. So now we're going to go in and begin to create pairings for these specific rounds. And this is where we're going to kind of take a little bit of time, show you maybe a few best practices that you may or may have not seen before. But as you recall, I had created a senior and a super senior division. Now, let's say I want to pair by those 2 divisions. And this is sometimes not seen or just gets overlooked. When I choose my playing divisions, there is a tooltip, select divisions to be included in pairings. This would mean if I wanted to create pairings with my senior players in specific pairing groups and my super senior players in specific pairing groups, I would want to choose these 2 divisions so that when I go to create my pairings, we are now pairing our championship senior division. We have a number of different ways that we can do this: manual pairings, automatic pairings. If I were to automatically schedule, well, do I want to use flights or do I not want to use flights? If I do use no flights, fine. Or if I want to create flights, I can do that as well. I'm not going to set the course in T right here, just to show you on the next page, maybe a way that we can utilize this if we need to. And then let's say we're going to create pairings by player handicap index. Now, I know I only have 4 players in each flight, so everyone's going to be in the same pairing group. But if you had multiple more than 4 players, 15, 20, 40 players in a flight or a division, we would certainly put the lower handicapped index players together. Then it's going to ask, well, I need to do the same thing for the super seniors. And this one, you know what? We still are going to use golfer flights, but this time let's just randomly pair these golfers together. Lots of different options on how you create these pairings. You get to the next page. If you want to go back and edit these, you certainly can. But if I continue forward, this is now going to create these pairings. And now we have our players here in these particular flights. Now, again, this happens every time, and I'm going to take another screenshot and send it off to my dev team. And you guys may have experienced this in the past, but I am unsure why we put our divisions in different orders. It always kind of baffles me as to why we do it this way. But sometimes this is just what happens when we create these pairings. Kind of frustrating, I know, but we can certainly amend this to get all of our divisions in the proper order. So if I want all of my A divisions together, I can certainly swap pairings, move this pairing up here in my A division, and I've got my B division down here. Now notice, because I created pairings by flight, it did keep my threesomes together in my flight 1, but then my fivesome, or my 5 players in that flight, were separated into a twosome and a threesome. If for some reason you don't want 2 3s and a 2 playing on the course, you could certainly swap these players and move these golfers to make foursomes. Even though they are in different flights, they're in the same division, and we could certainly make those adjustments to build out all of our foursomes if we needed to. Setting the course and tee, we do have a great opportunity here. So let's say all of my senior division are playing from the gold tee. I could choose that particular division, and we would assign this senior division to the gold tee, and we could apply those changes. And then if my super senior division, let's say they're going to play the purple tee, we could choose my super senior division, and we could assign those golfers to that particular tee as well. So we've got a lot of custom fields. You can see here, even if I wanted to change my flights, maybe my super senior first flight played from a specific tee, I could certainly highlight them and assign them to a tee. And if I wanted my other teams to play from or my other flights to play from a different tee, we can certainly do so. So using these data fields, or these different flights or divisions to assign tees, may be useful instead of having to try and go and figure out which golfer is on a specific division or flight, because we can use this option down here. Certainly can set a tee time or course or shotgun if we need to. I'm certain you're all familiar with how we need to build these out. Now, this is kind of an interesting scenario because I move some golfers around. I have this empty pairing group. So probably before I set my tee time, I probably would have wanted to save this so that that 7:20 time wasn't in an empty pairing group, or I could have moved all of those pairing groups up so that my 5th pairing group was the empty group. But if that is the case, I can certainly come back, make any of these changes, apply these, and now we have our tee times for our first round. Additionally, if you have a optional skins game or an optional deuce pot game for a particular round, this is where we are going to build out a round division. And I've already done this prior, but what I did was I added a new division. I named it a skins division, and I confirmed those 9 golfers who submitted a payment to me to get into the skins game. Let's say someone shows up late on the first tee box. Hey, I want to get into the skins game. Fine, we take their $10 or $20 or whatever the skins amount is. Jerry gave me their skins money. I now confirm them into that skins division, that round division. And now we have that opted up to 10 players. Now, because this is a single round tournament, under my rounds tab, within my tournaments is where I've built out my gross and my net skins game. And looking here, I can see that, oh, I did not select a division for my net skins, which is fine. I can certainly edit that. So we'll go into this skins net game, and we will choose our skins division because we want to use the subset of golfers who paid to play in the skins game. And you can see down here on my entry fee and points per player, I've entered in a purse of $10. I've got a rounding allocation, so I'm not paying out any change. If anyone were to win a skin and there were change involved in that, we would round that down. So you're never going to have to pay out more than what you have brought in. And because I have allocated an entry fee points per player, this $10 will now be multiplied by the 10 players in that particular division. So you don't have to remember if I had this set to $90 and then that other person came in and paid the skins, well, I'd have to come in and remember to either change this to 100 or my math would be off. But by using this entry fee and points per player of $10, that automatically allows me to multiply the purse amount by the number of players in that division. We do have a round pot carryover option. If you want to have that activated, just contact the support team and they'll get that activated for you. So that means the next round, if there were no skins in round 1, the $100 would carry over into round 2. So I'll go ahead and save that because I've made some changes to use my skins division. I've got a gross skins, I've got a net skins with a purse within this one round. And down here at the bottom, you can see that I've got my club championship and my ringer tournament used for this particular round. So that's how you can kind of tell your round tournaments are at the top, your multi-round tournaments are down at the bottom. Depending on how we enter in scores, if you're on the TM Club version, you are going to enter in scores through the Enter Scores tab. If you are on the TM Premium version, certainly we would recommend to utilize the mobile score entry where golfers can use a GGID that we submit to them either via email, text message, have it embedded on a scorecard. Those golfers enter in that GGID into their mobile device, and then they begin to enter in hole-by-hole scores after the hole is completed on the golf course. If you're on premium and you're not using it, I certainly recommend this because if you have a field of 100 golfers, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to enter in 100 or 1,800 hole-by-hole scores? We're just going to enter scores here quickly. And this is another great option where if you are building something and you're not sure if it's going to score correctly, you can always enter in random scores. And we're going to go ahead and test the leaderboard. We're going to run these results. This will run my results for round 1. And then we are going to have 5 different leaderboards. We have an overall, we have a senior, we have a super senior, and then we have 2 skins tournaments. And within these, we had some flights involved in a couple tournaments. We had a field player versus field tournament, and then we had a division of a subset of golfers for our skins tournaments. And actually, we had a ringer tournament, so we have 6 tournaments actually. And we will have all of those displayed based off of gross scores entered in one time. This is scoring all 3 rounds to begin with. So the first round, it does take a little bit of time to run through all 3 rounds to make them all linked up. The second time when we go to round 2, it won't take that long, but certainly probably a lot easier than you looking at all of these scorecards manually and trying to post them on a leaderboard and trying to figure out where golfers are in that scenario. So you can see here in my club championship division, non-flighted. Oh, there we go. Justin Scott, back of the pack, 105. Pretty good score for me today. And then if you look at these other net divisions, or these other divisions, we have a net tournament. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the net for my overall. And then we have our senior gross, senior net, super senior gross, super senior net. So we actually have multiple tournaments in here because we are running a bias. But you can see right now, we aren't running a bias as of yet because the tournament isn't completed. But you can now see that we at least have a nice looking leaderboard with all of the scores, ringer tournament. There we go, last place again. And then we have our skins results where we have gross skins with the number of skins won, the purse, and the details. If we wanted to expand on that to determine who chopped a skin, or if someone was wondering, hey, I had a birdie on this hole, why did I not win a skin? Well, Sherry, Gina, and Barb also had a birdie on this hole as well, or a 3 on this hole as well. So that's why you did not win a skin. So a good way to just to validate that the software is working correctly. And let's see if by chance, I doubt I did not win a skin with my gross 104. For the first round, we have a player per summary that does show the skins results, at least for the first 2 tournaments. Moving into the second round, so day 1's done, that's great. But now for the second round, we would want to try and pair golfers by their previous results. And again, maybe should have put a few more golfers in here because everyone's going to be in a foursome. Actually, my flight with the 3s and the 2 will play out correctly. But as we go to create our new pairings for the second round, if I want to pair by previous results, this is be a great notification here. Wait a minute, this doesn't look right. My last round had senior and super senior. Well, because in my rounds tab, my choose playing division, I forgot to select senior and super senior. So this is kind of a best practice when you're building this out to go ahead and choose these ahead of time so that when you do come in to build out your pairings for your next rounds, we already have these playing divisions selected. So now that I have senior and super senior divisions selected, I can create my new pairings. And now, how do I want to create my pairings for my senior division? Well, yes, I want to pair by previous results. And then it's going to give us some options. Well, yes, I want to use my round 1. I want the leaders to go off last. And do I want to pair by my gross results or net results because I had a gross net bias? So certainly, normally we pair by gross for previous results. And then this one, since I'm using a different tournament, I don't want to select this right now because I would be using the incorrect tournament. So we're going to go next here. And then now I'm doing my super senior, pairing by previous results, leaders off last, and now I'm using my super senior tournament. So be aware of that. If you have different divisions using different tournaments, we don't want to choose the option to use the same settings for a different division. So now that I've done this, we come into creating our pairings for round 2. Again, a little frustrating. We'll see if it works out right here or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It may put all of our divisions together. All right, so at least we're okay here. At least we did a good job here. But now you can see that we have our gross scores, where our 95, 99, and 105 are teeing off first, and our 88 and 91 are in the second pairing group. Same thing here. We do have at least the leader in the first pairing position, and we have our other scores in the other positions. You can see some of these have the net scores. These ones that don't, because I updated indexes, these are the no handicaps that came through. That's why Colleen, Joan, and Jerry aren't showing a gross and a net score, because it's the same, because when I ran the updated index, they came back as a no handicap. And so be it. Sorry, Jerry, you're going to play at a 0 because you don't have an active USGA index. Same thing here. It is going to make us set the course in tee again. Maybe we are going to move back a tee to where we are going to have our senior division play from the back tee. And then we're going to move our super senior. We'll move them back a tee as well. Maybe we'll put them off the black gold combo. And again, just a great way to be able to use these divisions to apply these tees to the appropriate person. Okay, this time I'm going to keep a 3 and a 2 and a 3 because the foursomes were really holding things up. We'll try and keep things moving along a little bit faster. We have enough time for 5 pairing groups. We'll keep it as is. And for whatever reason, we need to open up the course a little bit sooner. So we're going to do a reverse shotgun for this particular event. And we're going to put 2 players off hole number 1, so that we can clear the tee in about 40 minutes for play. So you can certainly change up what you need to do in a particular round. You don't always have to have it be tee times. We can use a reverse shotgun if necessary. We'll get to printed materials and some of the best practices, but moving on again, just for sake of time, I think these should all be in sync, but let's just double check. Yep, they are in sync. Again, I've set up a skins game for round 2. There were some different players who got into the skins game for this particular round. It actually is 10 this time as well. Last time it was 9, but I added another one. But again, let's say a couple other players. Hey, I feeling pretty good today. Let me get myself in the skins game, see if I can win a little money. Maybe I'll get lucky and beat my last round of 104. I now have 12 golfers in this skins game because I have the purse set to $10 per player. Again, this automatically bumps this purse up to $120. Entering in the scores, random scores. We'll test this leaderboard. And we'll quickly repeat the process for round 3. Round 3, we're not going to do a skins competition just because I'm not sure who's going to stick around, and I don't have to hold money to pay out. So round 3 will just be the 3rd round of the club championship. Round 2, we can pay out on the morning of round 3. So round 3, we're just going to pair by previous results and get the golfers out on the golf course to determine who our club champion is. We did have a ringer tournament involved here as well. So we will have all of our gross net tournaments as well as our skins tournament and our ringer tournament. Again, if we use live mobile scoring, as soon as that last person comes off the golf course, especially with the scramble, obviously you're going to have, all those cards come in at the same time. So let's see how we're doing here in the gross division after a couple rounds. I move up the leaderboard. Nope. Played a little better though, but I'm still down at the bottom. And as you can see, we've got our gross results, our divisional. I keep pushing the wrong one. We've got our divisional results by flight. Our skins, we have those results as well. And our ringer tournament, as you can see here, I moved up a little bit because I improved on quite a few holes in my second round. So my ringer score is starting to improve. My player purse summary, we now have a larger list of tournaments. So after 2 rounds, we have a larger purse summary because Colleen did pretty good. She's won a skin in every one of the tournaments. We'll go to round 3 real quick. And as you can see, once this is all set up ahead of time, not much that really needs to be done except for creating those previous pairings. Now in this one, yes, we need to choose round 2. Leaders off last. We're going to use our gross club championship. Same thing with the super seniors. Leaders off last. Gross. We've got our pairings. Again, we're not doing a skins tournament. We're just going to give them their scorecards, give them their GGID. Off they go. And now we will have, hopefully, fingers crossed, our bias. Actually, I got to create pairings first. Set course and tee. This time, you know what? We're going to have all the players are going to play from the black tee. So I can select all. I don't have to worry about using any of these other divisions. We're going to put everyone from the black tee, and you can see here, we still are abiding by the best. Interesting, it has the net first and the gross second. Not 100% sure why that did that, but you can at least see that we did it do correctly where the 165 is my best score in this particular flight with the higher scores afterwards. Notice I saved my pairings without setting my tee time or my shotgun. Certainly change that. We're going to go a little bit later this time. We're going to do 12-minute intervals, give everyone a little bit more of a chance to spread out on the golf course. Got a little extra time here. Certainly we can change anything that we need within this particular format. And then when I come in to enter in my random scores for round number 3, we'll run this leaderboard, and now we should have our club championship results. So, within about 30 minutes, right? I mean, we've gone through this whole scenario. Granted, it took us 12 hours to complete these rounds, but within about 30 minutes, we've conducted a nice club championship, created pairings by division, we've created skins divisions, we've created skins tournaments, and generated a result based off of these biases. So certainly, hopefully you can see the power of utilizing our multi-round tournaments efficiently to have a nice club championship that you can be proud of for your members. And again, not too long. If you had to try and do this manually, I guarantee you wouldn't have it done by the time Golf Genius did. I think I have two. I've got an option here. Sorry, guys. I've got some things set up in my account that aren't in your account because I'm on an association account. Let me change this display. No, I do have that unchecked. Okay. Try this again. Of course, it always happens this way when I'm running a tournament. Sometimes my account, it's got so much going on that the bias isn't recognized in your account, you're not going to experience this. So I do apologize. I'm not going to try and spend too much time to fix this if it doesn't, because it should work in your account where the bias is applied. I do want to move on. See if I get lucky with the rescore. I have a feeling probably not, but oh, I did. Hey, what do you know? So the rescore worked. Imagine that. So you can see here that within this club championship gross division, we are paying out half the field in the gross. We're paying out the other half in the net as well, or not paying out, but giving them the proper finish position with the appropriate purse. And then within our flighted tournaments as well, we have a bias for our flights. Hey, I'm going to get first place net in flight one because there are only 3 of us there. Hey, look at me, I win $80 for being the only person in the flighted results. But hey, I'm getting better each and every round. So you can see here that the bias did work after that rescore. Again, sometimes might just needed a refresh or something of that nature. Again, I don't have a skins result, but my ringer tournament is still here, and this is now counting my scores for the 3 rounds, where you can see where Sherry, she improved every round on hole number 1. So we're using her best score on her last round. So that's kind of a quick multi-round tournament on club championships. Again, it's a multi-round tournament over X number of rounds, maybe using divisions, maybe using flights. And then when we're creating pairings by previous results, we're just using the choose playing division to make sure that we pair golfers appropriately. Moving on to a multi-round linked tournament. As you can see, this is a different format where we play different formats each round. And we see this sometimes in men's league or ladies league where I'm going to play, where I'm going to play a better ball, a scramble, and an alternate shot. And this is normally played in a team event. Normally you don't see multi-round link tournaments for individuals, but you can. Maybe round 1, I'm going to play a gross tournament. Maybe round 2, I'm going to play a net tournament, and we want to aggregate those together. That would be a link tournament that we would build, but normally we see this as a team competition. Excuse me. As you can see, I've already built out my 2-player team lists with 8 teams, and I have already created my 2 flights. Just as I've done with individuals, I can create flights by teams, either by combined index or lowest index or the members index. So certainly I've already built out my teams and my flights, so I won't go over that at least for this scenario. But then within my better ball, scramble, and alternate shot, within my tournaments formats within each round, I have built out a member guest better ball tournament where I'm using my all golfers division. This is where that team list was found. I'm using my multi-round tournament linked team list. So we need to make sure, yes, I'm using a team list because this team list needs to be used for multiple rounds. I'm going to pay out to teams because this is where I want the monies to go. I want the team to receive the money, not an individual. Now, you certainly could if you wanted to, but normally we see the payouts to teams. Yes, it's a stroke play format, team pair versus flight, best ball on each hole. And you know what? I'm going to retain ties in this one. I'm not using a bias. So if two teams shoot the same score, great. They'll split that purse based off of their finish position. Same thing with rounds 2 and 3, just so that you can see here. I have built out a scramble tournament. When it asked the balls to use, I didn't use a better ball. I was asked to use a scramble tournament using a handicap index. And then won't go into this one as well. Within round 3, I did build out an alternate shot format. Well, if I just score these are going to score individually, better ball, scramble, and alternate shot. But after I have built these tournaments, under my events tab, under multi-round tournaments, I have built a linked tournament. So you could either add a linked tournament, and I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll just show you the one that I've built. So if I'm adding a linked tournament, it's going to have all of the tournaments that are within this particular event. Well, here's my club championship multi-round tournaments. Here are my club championship tournaments for rounds 1, 2, and 3. Well, I don't want to use those. I've got my better ball tournaments on the 27th, the 3rd, and the 9th. And this is where I would choose these tournaments. And you notice some of these other tournaments disappeared. And there's a great tooltip here. Well, they disappeared because these other tournaments don't contain a team list. They're individual. So how can I link an individual tournament with a team tournament? So it kind of helps, to get rid of those. That's great. You have to kind of find them initially, but you would grab these tournaments to link them together. Now I've already done that, so I'm going to come in and edit this one here. So as you can see, I've chosen my better ball, scramble, and alternate shot. And I've given them a brief abbreviation instead of T1, T2, T3, just so on the leaderboard that when players are looking at that on the TV display or on the portal on their mobile device, they kind of know what that abbreviation for that tournament is. And additionally, under my advanced settings, if I want to give out a purse for the results of this multi-round tournament, I can certainly do so. And one other thing I will mention that I did as well, sometimes you will pay out day money. So if I have a tournament that pays out day money, that's great. So if I win the better ball round, I'm going to get day money. But in that multi-round link tournament, that's when we will pay out for the overall purse for all 3 of the rounds. Same thing here, we can automatically schedule. We can either use no flights if we don't want to. If I don't want to use any flights, I can just use my team pairs. Or if I wanted to use my pairs by flight, I certainly could. Up to you as to how you want to pair these. We'll just randomly pair, team pair. A lot of options here. Just kind of have to read through how you want these players to appear on the pairing sheet. So just kind of make sure you read through these options as to how you want these golfers to be paired. I said no flights randomly. Okay, I've got 8 teams. They're going to randomly be paired. But if I wanted to set my course and tee, again, based off of specific parameters, now I have my all golfers division. This is where my team list is found. If I wanted these particular players to play from a specific tee, and if I wanted these specific players to play from a specific tee, I could certainly do so. So we've got a lot of options here. Normally, you won't see all of these different options in one tournament. Normally, your club championship is going to be one event. Your member guest is going to be in another event, but just for simplicity's sake, they're all kind of lumped up in the same. I'm not going to set tee time and shotgun just for sake of time. save these pairings, quickly enter in some scores. We'll do this 3 times real quickly. Again, we can pair your next round by previous results if you would like, or maybe again, it's just, hey, I want to try and get a mix of golfers to play with one another so that everyone gets a chance to play with another team, so that maybe you don't want your leaders to play together or whatever. Maybe you have some requests. This is a nice friendly member guest where Aaron and I want to play with our other member and guest all 3 rounds. Okay, fine. We can certainly do that. Notice that this is now still in progress. This is my multi-round tournament overall. My team purse summary is now a reflection of my member guest better ball tournament. This is my first round better ball. Still not making any money, but I'm getting closer. But you can see flights 1 and flights 2 have been divided with their appropriate day money purse. My multi-round tournament overall is going to be the same right now because it's just 1 round. But if I move into my second round, create my pairings based off of previous results, we're going to use our member guest better ball round, leaders off last. We'll do our member guest better ball. And now the interesting thing with this, though, just keep in mind, when we do leaders off last, because this is a flighted tournament, notice in the first round, I chose to not pair by flights. This one will make me, or it will pair by flight because I had said, yes, I want to use my results. So these flights you can see here are divided. So if I were to show those flights, these are my flight 1, and this is my flight 2. And that's just kind of how it is when we pair by previous results if you have a flighted tournament. So just keep that in mind. If you wanted to just randomly create pairings again, you certainly could. We're going to move up for this one. We're going to have some low scores. We're going to do the scramble from the forward tee, make it a fun day for these ladies and or gentlemen. We're gonna end some scores and then do this one more time for the third round to generate our multi-round linked tournament results. So again, the multi-round overall tournament is still going to show in progress because we have 1 more round to go before that is completed. But we will have a day money result for this scramble tournament. And you are going to see that the team purse summary will increase. I remember guest scramble. Still haven't done any better, still not winning any money. But now we have a team purse summary of the first 2 rounds. And now my multi-round tournament overall certainly will show my better ball and scramble score with that appropriate leaderboard and the finish position of those golfers in this particular format. So now we're adding rounds 1 and 2. We'll quickly do the same for round 3. Create these new pairings. We'll just do random, no flights, random. And if you were to create these pairings accidentally the incorrect way, okay, I can move my pairings around. I can go back and recreate pairings if I need to. So let's say, oh, I didn't mean to create random pairings. That was, or if the tournament committee comes back and be like, hey, I want to be playing with the leaders. You can always go back and recreate pairings or move pairings around as need be, as I'm sure you all know. Select all these golfers, apply these changes, and enter in scores. And we're doing pretty good on time. So in about an hour, we've kind of conducted 2 of these formats that hopefully gives you an idea as to, how to create your divisions, how to create your teams. And we will talk about team creation here when we get into some best practices after we finish this particular demonstration as to how we can hopefully build out teams automatically as opposed to having to manually creating teams. Okay, so tournament cannot be scored as your pairings were not organized by teams. Player some teams, interesting. So something happened here, which I'm not sure what happened, but let's look here. I might have used the wrong team list. Let's double check this tournament. All right, that looks good there. And this is always kind of a good thing to enter in random scores. Let's clear my random scores. Come back and look at my edit existing pairings. Said something about my teams not being in the right position. So let's look at teams. Janice and Jerry. Oh, I probably did not create my teams based off of the team list. I just randomly created pairings. So that's what it did. It randomly created pairings and it didn't put my players together with one another. So that was my mistake on creating my pairings. Got a little too ahead of myself. Said, yes, I randomly created my pairings. So instead of randomly creating my pairings, I needed to use the team pair. So I can save that. We will recreate these. And like I said, went a little too fast, right? I didn't check off the boxes that I needed to. But at least in doing that with some random scores, I was at least alerted of that beforehand, as opposed to the end of this round and you got 100 people barking at you, wondering where the results are, and you get the results of, hey, no teams are found. At least, with these random scores, I was able to observe that mistake, come in and edit this mistake the night before so that I am not in a panic on the day of, which those of you who are in the business, I'm sure has happened more than once. Certainly has happened to me more than once, and any less stress that you can have on the day of certainly will make your day a lot easier and certainly make your members a lot more appreciative that things are scoring correctly and you're not having to go back in the back office and try and remedy your mistake. So hopefully, after pairing by team, there we go. No more error message. So here's my day results. Here is my multi-round tournament overall. And then if I want to show points in purse, again, for whatever reason, this is shown at the end of this tournament. So if we want to show points in purse on the portal, on the leaderboard, we have to tell the system to show person points. I guess that's just to make sure that everything is correct. With round tournaments, we don't have to, it just automatically shows. But for this scenario, it would ask us to show our purse and points. So now we've got all of our results from our day money and our multi-round tournament. Now, if we want to see this, okay, this is great. This is all on the manager side. We can certainly show it on a TV display. Or if we go to the portal, if we give the golfers portal access, under my player event standings and or team event standings, you're going to see my player event standings for my club championship times played. We've got all of our golfers who have played in that club championship. and the money that they have won. It looks like I won $80 at least in the club championship. And you can see on the portal, well, this is okay. It's kind of tough to see with the background. As a manager, you can always come into your general portal settings and possibly change the background opacity a little bit, make it a little bit darker so that maybe these results are a little bit easier to visualize because the background that's a little better, not so much transparency. So now I can kind of see these results a little bit better. So again, that's under your general portal settings. You can change the opacity of the background. And then I've also added in a team event standings for my member guest. This now kind of shows all of those result standings for my member guests. And looks like we finally won some money here as well. Now, if you want to see, this is kind of tough here in the fact that I do have a bunch of different flights because of all of the tournaments that I've set up. But if I had named these flights a little bit differently, I could certainly view those flights a little bit easier instead of everything being named flight 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. This might be member guest flight 1, member guest flight 2, because these probably aren't going to have any results. So again, just some best practices, kind of moved a little fast there with naming those flights. But if I wanted to go back and rename my member guest flights and rescore the leaderboard, these flights would be a little bit more recognizable on my league standings. Again, also in my tournament results, looks like I deleted my tournament results page, but if I added the tournament results page into this particular tournament. Looks like I didn't release results to the portal, which is fine. If I wanted to do that, I've checked everything. I could come into my rounds tab for each one of these rounds. At least round 1 was showed in the portal because I enabled mobile score entry. Those of you on the TM Club version, when you move the round from not started to completed, you will want to check to have results shown on the portal. And again, it's just as easy as a handful of clicks. No harm, no foul, really. Someone says, hey, I can't see the results on the portal. Okay, give me a few seconds. 12 clicks right there. I now come back to the portal, and within my tournament results, I can now toggle through all of my different tournaments, and I can see those results as a player, as how I've done within that alternate shot round, as well as my multi-round tournament overall. All right, haven't lost anybody, Aaron. Still got my two gentlemen on board. So
Yep.
back to the PowerPoint.
Way to hold strong, guys. Way to hold
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah. Back to the PowerPoint. Divisions, flights, and teams are going to kind of skip over that. We can certainly talk about that if we need to. But just a few best practices about your leagues, and we'll just kind of briefly touch over these, show you where they are. There are a lot of knowledge base articles available to you regarding some of these best practices. But the league best practices, certainly for those of you on premium, using registration, or those of you who are not, to use Golf Hub to build registration. Certainly a best practice to build out your roster. You put the onus on the player to register instead of having them sign up on the back of the golf shop counter, and you build that roster based off of golfers who've signed up. Round signups. I know we've talked about this a lot before, where we can automate signups so that golfers can sign up for rounds via an invite. So again, you're not having to manipulate some sort of sign-up sheet in the back of the golf shop or in the men's locker room. Communication, we certainly want to use Golf Genius to communicate with your golfers either via email or text messaging. And we can build templates to make that an easier process when you're trying to communicate with your golfer. Customized scorecards. We do have the ability to customize scorecards. The report center has a lot of information, a lot of basic reports that you can view and print for your players. And the community reports, which is a great way to find reports that have been built by other facilities that you can bring into your account and customize on your own. So I'm just going to quickly show you where these are. For registration, for those of you on TM Club or on Premium and you'd like to use Golf Hub, under your Apps tab is where you would create a new Golf Hub page and then add in that registration. You're building in a registration for one golfer, 4 golfers. You can add, actually, let me disable registration, and I'll just kind of quickly walk you through. It's not enabled, perfect. So we should be able to utilize this Golf Hub registration, or at least look at it. I'm not going to save it. But this is where you would build out your Golf Hub page with the information that you wanted to present to your players. We have the golf course that we're going to play, tournament name, event title. Do we want to add in a schedule? Do we want to show sponsors? Do I want to add in a nice banner? All of that information populates over on the right-hand side. And then when you save and publish this, this is when it gets published to your hub. It also gets published to the Golf Genius hub, and if you wanted it to get published to the CGA hub. And that's what this is right here. I need to get with Hannah actually to customize this a little bit, which is kind of a note that I had, but this is a good reminder for me to get with her. But you can see here there are 34 events that the CGA has allowed golfers to aggregate into their aggregated hub. So if I'm close to the Aurora Hills, and I'm a 9-hole ladies player, well, great. I have the ability to view this hub and possibly register for this event if registration has been enabled. If I do that, great. I can now save this. And once this is saved, when I go back to my apps tab, I now have the ability to add registration. I can set player limits. I can set up permissible numbers of golfers who can register. I can add in entry fees. I can connect my Stripe account to accept online payments if I would like. I can have add-ons if there's a cart fee or a dinner added on to that. This is one way that we can build out a registration package for golfers to register for an event through the Golf Hub. If we are using premium registration, I can still use Golf Hub, but then within my registration center is where I am going to enable registration. Maybe I'm going to enable it with credit card payments. Within my setup is how I am permitting golfers to sign up, whether it be a member registration, a member guest registration, guest only registration. We have the ability to add custom fields to that registration form so that maybe we need an address, city, state, and zip. Maybe we need a mobile number from these golfers so that we can communicate with them via text message if you're on the premium version. We can set open and close dates, not only in this form, but also in the Golf Hub form. So where that registration opens up automatically, closes automatically. And then once we have this registration form built, we direct golfers to the portal to register for that event. And that's what builds out this player roster. So a quick overview on how registration can hopefully help you build out a roster. With round signups, as we had spoke to before, we'll briefly touch on, we can certainly set up open and close dates to where X number of dates before this round opens. We will send an automatic invite to those golfers asking them if they would like to play in the round. And based off of their response, that round player roster gets built based off of those golfers confirming that, yes, I would like to participate in this particular round. Communication. We have ways to communicate via email and or text message outside of the automatic round sign up. So if I'm sending golfers an email, I can certainly just compose a quick email that data fields that can be used to add in personalization to this message: first name, last name, tee time, hole number, tee assignment, course that you're playing, event name, lots of information that we can certainly populate into an email communication. If you have a communication that you would like to use over and over, that communication can be saved as a template. So I've got a round tea time template that I have built where if I want to use this over and over, well, great. This is a nice way to let golfers know I didn't put tee time. I didn't put tee times in for this round, so that's why it's not showing. So if I had put tee times in for this alternate shot round, it would have shown the tee time, showing the course that they're playing. I didn't put the tee in here, but I certainly could. Shows the other players in the pairing group based off of this particular customized email. If I wanted to make any changes to this email, I certainly could. Maybe save it as a new template, save those changes to the template, or just send it out without making any changes, and that template remains consistent. For those of you on the premium package, again, text messaging, another great way to communicate with your golfers, because since I've been sitting here, my phone in my pocket's gone off 3 or 4 times. So I know that I've got a text message. I don't have notifications on emails for my phone, but I certainly could check my email on my phone. But text messages is a great way to get that instant messaging out to your players. Hey, we've got a frost delay, we've got a rain delay. You can quickly send out that message. Golfers receive that communication, and then they know not to show up to the course and, clog up your golf shop, because everybody's going to be wondering, can we go now? Can we go now? Can we go now? Well, no, we're on a frost delay for an hour. Go grab an extra cup of coffee. We'll see you at 10 as opposed to 9. Scorecards. We've got a number of scorecards that are built for you in the community. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if any of you have used the legacy scorecard. We have got some pushback from this, but this has been around for a long time and will be terminated on September 1st, 2025. We just feel that the scorecard composer has more customization. When we have bugs, when we have to fix one or the other, it takes a lot of time to go in and fix both areas. So if you are using the legacy scorecard, my apologies, but it will be sunsetted. And we certainly suggest that you start to use the scorecard composer. We have a number of scorecards already built by the community. And if you would like to put one of these scorecards into your scorecard category, you certainly can. And this gives you the ability to edit one of these scorecards. Now, I've got a 4-player scorecard here that has some data fields. It's got information with the players. There is a great scorecard composer webinar, or certainly if you want to go over any of these tabs, we've got a lot of editing scorecard tabs. Or if I go to handicap stroking and I were to click on the help tab here, I thought I had more in, there we go. So if I edit scorecards, here's the pairing group tab, format tab, handicap stroking tab. All of these different tabs have a knowledge base article associated with them, as well as a nice scorecard composer webinar if you enjoy watching webinars as opposed to reading articles. But every one of these tabs helps customize this scorecard. Who do you want to show on the scorecard? How do you want to handicap this scorecard? Do you want to show any additional information? Do I want to highlight starting holes? Do I want to show the tees that the golfers are going to be playing on this scorecard? Do I want to change the font and the color of any of these tiles within my scorecard? And the header and footer is customization for logos, photos, lines, watermarks. A great way to customize the scorecard. For me personally, I only need my name and my 18 boxes to put in my score, but certainly some other facilities and some other players really like a nicely designed scorecard. So we give you the ability to do so. to me, this is fine. It's got my name, it's got my 4 boxes, but certainly for a corporate outing where you want to highlight that particular outing, or they've paid you some extra funds to try and highlight their exposure, you can certainly dress up the scorecard with as many logos and photos as you would like. The report center under your basic reports has a ton of reports that you can certainly use and conduct all of your events without even having to go to and search our community reports. Here's a cart sign. Here's an alpha and T sheet. We've got a T sheet here at the bottom. We've got proximity markers if you would like to build them. Most everything that you need to conduct your event are found within your basic reports. However, if you don't like this T sheet, or excuse me, if you don't like this cart sign, too stock standard, too blocky for you, fine. You could certainly build your own cart sign if you would like. We give you the ability to do so. But also we give you the ability to search our community reports to find a cart sign that has already been built by someone else. And then we give you the ability to bring that cart sign. I don't know why I keep saying scorecard and T-sheet. We give you the ability to build that cart sign or move that cart sign into your report center. And if you had a cart sign category, you could certainly put it in there. We could add another category. But if I put this cart sign pair tea time, excuse me, starting hold double, and if I put this into my report composer file, when I come back into my report center, into my report composer, I now have this cart sign that I can make any edits to. Maybe I want to change the color of my players' names. Maybe I want to change the font. Maybe I want to add some logoing. I could certainly do that because now this is brought over from the community center and it's added into my report center that I can now make my own, save it, use it over and over, make edits, save it as a new, and then use that when I'm ready to print out those cart signs for my particular event. So certainly the report center has a lot of great information. Their community reports has additional reports that you can edit. It does take some time to get used to the data fields and where they go and getting all of the reports configured appropriately. But again, kind of like a broken record, we do have a great report composer webinar within our help tab center. Lots of different information there. So hopefully that gives you an idea about multi-round tournaments, some best practices for using some of registration, communications, printed material to hopefully make your operations more successful. So about 90 minutes into it, you know, leave it to you two gentlemen if you have any questions specific to your facility. If you'd like, we can certainly address any of those, or we can give you half an hour of your day back to do anything that you wish with those minutes.
Justin, what you've done has been great. I've certainly enjoyed it. Learned a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Richard. Glad you could attend. Hopefully, you know, there's so much in here. As Aaron knows, you know, we could with WHS and handicapping and rules and Golf Genius, you know, if Aaron could probably spend a full day on the rules, I could spend a full day on Golf Genius as well. So I appreciate those kind words, and hopefully I've just given you a little bit of insight as to what you can do. And certainly the more you get in there and the more you practice, same thing, the more you understand the rules and read up on the rules, you become more knowledgeable. Same thing with Golf Genius. The more you get into the system, you know, the better you're going to be.
I agree. I'll be pushing to do better.
All right. Fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
Rick,
thanks, Richard. Right. And then just got a message from Rick. Perfect. Thank you for joining us, Rick. Hopefully it's not too much. It was just enough to kind of get you going. But I know it is kind of like it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you putting it
Justin?
on.
Yeah, no worries. Again, thanks for being an audience for us today. Again, there were supposed to be more people, but that's okay. 2 is all we needed. But
Right.
I'm assuming everybody who wanted to come is just going to wait for us to upload the video on our website. Which, if you guys want to take a look at that, that should be uploaded. What's today? Maybe by the end of the week, if not early next week. So, yeah, in case you missed something or want to hear it again, it'll be up for you.
Great. Thanks for letting me
Sure.
present, Aaron.
Yep, no problem. Let me go ahead and stop